Hi everyone, it's the Psychic Sleuth, and today I'm going to be doing the Summer Moon Utah Wells reading number 2, June 28th, 2021. This is actually my second time doing it because I accidentally hit stop instead of pause, and I don't know how to put the two together. So, before I get started, I want to mention, if you guys have not listened to the Psychic Sleuth podcast, please get a hold of that. The last one I did was on Lauren Spears. I hope that's how you say her name. Anyways, we've done 3 so far. You guys can check that out on my wall. I will also post a link to Lauren's below. You should be able to find all 3 there. You can also find them on Spotify as well. And I'll also post the things and the links below of how to reach me, the Facebook page, t-shirts, if you want to donate, whatever. So, here we go. Oh, I apologize how I look, by the way. What I was going to say is it's so hot in my house. I've sweat all day, plus the pain that I'm in. I can't do anything with myself, so it will just, all the makeup will sweat off, and this is the best it's going to get right now. So I do apologize. So I can get past, present, and future. Things can be symbolic or have multiple meanings. Remember, I do get interconnects, so not all names or whatever will fit her case, although I try to remain as focused as possible. I also try to stay away from what could have happened that's out there so that I can have a blind reading. It's not always easy. I've been getting things the last couple of days leading this direction. I have just been in too much pain and exhausted from the heat to get it out. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty, and this is for entertainment purposes only. This is in no way pointing fingers, but just a psychic medium impressions, and I pray that it's accurate, but I only gave you guys what I saw. I only ever get what I'm shown and I see, and I think the last reading I did was too early. I don't think I could be shown very clearly what happened. That's why it was very vague. Just like when, early passings, I always say give it at least a week before we connect, because it's too hard to get clear information. That's why I like to do multiple readings. So however, I did get last time that it was an accident. This stays the same when this reading. I think that the stairs could be the story that was given. She went down to her room, or just where her room was, and so that was the famous story, because we can get information like that will point to things that are being said or whatever. Also, if you watch my last reading, you see I did mention a well in the beginning that I was going to do Terry's case about a month or so ago, and that came through. Also came in Linda. Come in a few times, so I thought it was for her last name. Well, maybe it has multiple meaning thing. I really don't know. I wasn't really shown that per se in this, but you'll see what I got. So there seems to be many interconnects from different readings. I've also received info on this case before, even her name. I guess we'll say there's some interconnects. Suzanne's where I got her name at. And there are some things in the area from other readings. Gypsies reading. So I did receive info on this case before she ever went missing, even her name. This case has hit me harder than most. Usually I'm able to separate myself from the emotions of it, but I normally don't have too many dreams on those I work on. I can name them on one hand, and they're usually big cases. It's usually the ones I'm connected to the strongest. But Summer, I had 2 dreams. One was icing her knee and her finger in a weird situation, and the next we were having ice cream together. I had fallen asleep on the couch right here, and the next thing I know, I was having ice cream with Summer. She was adding a bunch of toppings, among them with sprinkles. Never in a case do I think about them 24/7. I always try to separate myself, but I think that Summer has been reaching out to me, and that we have some kind of special connection. So over the last few days, I've gotten different information that it all seemed to come through in the reading. Remember, I only ever given what I'm shown, and what is given to me, no matter if they have heard it, no matter if I may have heard it, or it has been told to me before, or I've seen it, or whatever. Before reading, I will try to clear all that out, and I don't think of anything, just channeling, just what comes to me, what's told to me, what I see. I tried to go in different directions with her case, and it never went anywhere. Even tried to follow the man that I saw, but it never went anywhere. So I believe Summer gave me her story. Yes, some will be things that are known that I give. She is giving it to me, so I'll say it, even if it's known. I'll say again, I only ever give what Spirit gives. Sorry I'm getting this out a couple days later than I wanted to. I've had a rough couple days. Please take the things I described from this reading and put it with the other one to form an area. Also, the trash bag, I don't know, in the trunk could have been evidence or something, not sure yet, but she told me in the last reading she was never outside planting the garden and that it was an accident then. And I've been thinking over the last couple days, she wouldn't drive back to the river, so this does make sense, and it did come in like the story or movie, so this is what Summer has to say. She's quiet all day until now. She showed me that a lot seemed to change in the home life in the last 6 months or so. She does mention to me abuse somewhere along the line, whether it was a secret or it was known, being touched in a not okay way by a few men, and I also see some other abuse with her when temper raged. I get a reference to fights and arguing and yelling, which came in the first reading. She talks about things getting volatile at times, not feeling as loved and cared for as the boys. She shows me like Cinderella or Rapunzel. She showed me like that cartoon, like locked away in a castle. Only thing is the stairs led down to the darker basement where she stayed. She says that she couldn't have really complained her life was okay. She guesses she felt most free outside. She shows me clips, and we have seen them of her jumping in puddles. She shows me those clips, like a movie in my head. She loved to do that, and I see her running on the grass, holding pets, swinging, and well, just anything that involved being outside. Digging in the mud. I even see her playing with her brother's trucks in the mud and with a shovel and pail. I don't think she really wanted her hair cut short, but she wasn't a total girly girl. But I still think she liked her hair because she puts her hands on her head. There is a man that she shows me that's bald with a beard that possibly abused her or was around that I'm not too clear on. I get a reference to this before, but I do feel drugs around. She draws my attention to powder on a glass. And then the drinking, I hear, screaming and stuff at one another. Then Summer would run off to her room or hide. She's very sensitive to this, and honestly, she was very different than her family. She was a bright light in this dark world. I don't know why she references how blue her eyes were, but I see them blue. I mean, we all know they're blue, but she's zoning in on her eyes to me just like this. Like, that's how she showed them to me. It can be symbolic for the things that she's seen. Or maybe she liked her color eyes. I feel like it was something that was complimented on a lot. We all know she liked being barefoot, but she really did like playing outside that way and walking that way, running around that way. She liked to feel the earth on her feet. Sorry if she mentions things we know. I won't say them unless I hear or see them, but she shows me her running barefoot. I do ask her when her favorite times were, and she said swimming, but I feel she didn't always feel safe at home or anywhere. Because I feel she wasn't watched closely, and yes, she was fearless, but there were just things that were going on and that made it a dangerous environment, whether it be drugs, abuse, etc. I'm wanting to say that she was sexually abused, but I'm not 100% on that because it wasn't too clear, but she makes me feel this way by men that were present, specifically the one I was seeing with the beard that was bald. He is who I tried to follow, but it led nowhere. I do feel like C, and I want to call her Candy for some reason, cheated on Dawn. I get a reference to having men over while she was gone, and when I'm typing, as I'm typing this, also talking to men online or flirting with younger boys. Then I also get a reference to possibly the men that stayed around there I kept seeing. Again, a bald man with a beard. I think his name is Christopher for a couple days. That came in. They were referencing my cousin, that's his name, and stuff. So while I'm laying here sometimes relaxing, I was getting information, and that was one thing I kept repeating, and I don't really know why. I thought if I followed him in the reading it would lead me somewhere, but it didn't. So I thought that he would be involved. My reading didn't lead that way, but he kept popping in. I keep hearing, I don't know why she's saying I was never there. Maybe in saying she was never home that day, because she did tell me before she was never in the garden. She mentioned her bathing suit for some reason, and this would go back to how I said the timeline was off. So I don't know if it being missing or last thing she was actually wearing, but there is something about her bathing suit. I don't know why I see flip-flops too, and wonder if she wore them or someone else did because they're mentioned. Like I said, I think the stairs that came in before because she lives down them, and because that was the story, the famous story. It can come in how it's all, how sometimes we can understand what's being said. It's like charades, and it was like they showed me that, and then another picture, and then another picture. It wasn't flowy like this time. I still feel like she's holding her head, and there's a reference to, I don't know, her arm being grabbed again, but this time I get a deeper look of it happening more in nature. I hear the birds again really loudly. Again, and now I'm feeling a little bit nauseated. Now, I don't know if they gave Summer alcohol, or I'm just feeling what the people around her felt, but I feel nauseous and a bit high. Like lately, when I'm doing a readings and there's drugs or alcohol involved or whatever, I feel like I'm high. I kind of feel like that now. I can smell a musty smell as well, like wet, musky smell. I'm trying to see what happened. I think, I don't know, Summer shows me her getting sips of this drink. I do see C flirting with this boy. There was a lot not caught on camera because she was filming. I don't know if Summer hit her head, but I keep seeing a reference to the head. Then I keep feeling like I'm drunk or high. I do think that this kid was supplied with marijuana, maybe even more, but I'm not positive on that. Not trying to be led by info that we know, but I'll just give you what I'm seeing, and it's strong. It was like a movie. So I heard the word accident again. Then, like, you know, when someone is having problems in the water, they go up and down and flap around. Like, you know, when someone's drowning. And I feel like there's a reference to her head. I don't know if it was hit on a rock or what, or how it fits. And then I don't know if that there has a small drop off, because she shows me like maybe she got too deep. I feel like my feet slipping off a rock on the bottom, and then like boom, I fall deeper. Like a small drop off she wasn't expecting, because I feel like, you know, when you're in the water, you're on rocks and then you take a step and it just drops off out of nowhere. Now normally I wouldn't say she would go that far. Maybe she didn't expect to drop off, and this drop off doesn't seem to be so far out. I wonder if it exists in this water, because my feet can also feel it. Like, it was weird. I've never felt that in a reading before either, where my feet felt like they were on slippery rocks. And then all of a sudden there wasn't a rock there. So weird, but this could be why I always felt river and water very clearly. And that was the first vision I ever got, was a river. So this is like a lagoon type area, I think, by the river. But I also feel like I don't see Mom and him when this happens, like they disappear behind a tree or something together. I don't know, she keeps talking about being slippery, and then I see her go under, and I can feel it on my own feet. There's a reference to her head, like she keeps coming in. Then I feel water, like I'm struggling to breathe, and I'm going up and down, and she's trying to cry out, and like the water is going in her mouth because she can't really scream. Because for anyone that's almost drowned, like, you are too busy flailing around trying to swim and stay afloat, and you take in water. I ask her, so you never made it home? And I hear, no, I didn't. I hear, so you never were in the garden, and that was the story? And she said, yes. I hear the word fabricated. Anyways, so she flashes me back to him. I don't know. I feel like they came from around the tree, out of the bushes, and she's like floating face down. And then I see the mom kind of freak out. And this is where, in the first reading, it's like, oh my God, freaking out after it happened, after the accident happened, what I saw in the first reading. Then he grabbed her arm, so this must be where the arm grab comes from in the first reading. So I don't know if they did CPR or were able to revive her or not. I don't really see that, so I don't think so. I'm not sure, you know, they know how to do that, and I feel like they were kind of frozen. They didn't really know what to do. And she didn't want to call for help because she wanted to save her own butt, because she's with the minor doing things, not watching her kid and drinking, and was going to drive them home like that. So I don't feel, she was asleep in the car. I feel she was gone. And now I know why I keep getting the area it's because it makes sense now. Before I was like, how would she take her back there? I kind of didn't make sense. Like if something happened at home, like why would she take her all the way back out to where they were? But after seeing this vision, now it does. And again, I tried to follow the man, and it led me nowhere. I tried to follow other things, like maybe she ran off, but this is what Spirit showed me clearly, and not just because it's a story out there. There are several stories. This was the one they showed, and I think that the kid knew this. I get a connection to Jay, so I don't know why I've been getting that a couple days now when trying to get his name. Ryan came in, but I don't know. I saw that's a name near their house, but it can be another case, but I do keep getting a J. So going back to what I got before. Oh, actually, the person in my group told me that Jay is the oldest boy, and so he might know. So that might be why I'm getting that, because I mentioned the older boy probably knew. So she's going back to what I've got before. It's similar. The river, very prevalent, and has been since the beginning. So going back to what I got before, sorry, I accidentally repeated that. The train tracks too. I'd be looking for an abandoned building in the area with an outbuilding. I'm wondering if the well I saw in Terry's case fits here. It came in about a month and few weeks before Summer went missing. I had said it in the beginning of her last reading. I thought it was her last name. It may have been more than one meaning. I don't know. It could just be her last name because they didn't really show me one. And I'll tell you what I saw in reference to that. So, the side of my head is hurting. Somehow she hit her head. I'm trying to see what else is in the area. It's very loud with wildlife and very known to her. I don't know. I feel a lot of panic into what she's going to do. And again, I always feel that there were lies around this and some sort of accident occurred. Just wasn't clear exactly what before because it was so new. So I hope again I'm not being led by anything we know, but it is so vivid. I don't know if she comes across as fearless, sweet-natured, and one that could really bug you if she wanted attention. It's trying to see more. The outbuilding I'm seeing that came in first reading is got a slanted roof, I think. I can hear the rush of the river. It's very green around me. I don't know. I hear the words National Park. I don't know. My whole left side of my head and my face hurt now. I feel like a clearing where there's grass. There's this outbuilding, and I don't know if it's a well or what it is. I just feel it's dark, and like you would go down. And remember, in the first reading, I kept getting it's dark, and I thought maybe nighttime. Maybe it was this. She's dark. It's dark where she is. So I still see when I'm going here, it will be like you take a right before you cross the bridge that goes over the water and into another town. I get the number 23. Also the number 6 for some reason. The area is like, okay, here's the river on my left, the path like on this side, and then a pathway or driveway is in the middle, and then on my right there's more trees and foliage, and then if you walk through there's a clearing of grass and an old abandoned building of some sort. I don't know if it's falling down, but there's some sort of brown building that's falling down. And then I just see darkness. But I have been getting a well since Linda, but they just show me darkness. And I feel like I've fallen down somewhere, or I'm down somewhere where it's dark. And I hear an echo as I'm typing. So that could very well interconnect here from Linda and what I got a few weeks ago and Terry, which I never put Terry's reading out. It was just something I said in my group. And so I mentioned it here because I noticed her last name and thought it was weird. Sorry, my back's really hurting now, so I'm going to try to finish this up. Sorry if I go fast. I really don't try to. So it's come in quite a bit of readings. So thinking back now, I want to say that it's possible it's not far from the main freeway or the main road because I hear cars. I would be in the vicinity of where they were or are. They know, close by. I'm starting to feel super nauseated again. I can see it clearly. I wonder if I can draw it, and maybe I'll try, but because then after the clearing there is more trees and foliage. I don't know why I see leaves if they cover the ground there, and I see curvy, so maybe the river is curvy at this point. The inside of my mouth hurts, so I don't know why if I drink the water. If I drank my water at that time and it tasted weird, like water from the river or something. It was super weird. I've never had that happen before, but I don't know what it was. So I do feel like I'm in a dark hole, and I'm thinking maybe that's why I got dark before. Like maybe I thought it was nighttime, but maybe it's just dark where she's at. Also, this would be why I got the time I was off as well. And I kept saying the time didn't match. There was something off with it. I also do feel like it happened earlier than what they stated. They waited. I also do feel like this isn't far from train tracks. Would be on my opposite side of that freeway and up. Like maybe. And then I get a reference to a tunnel again or an overpass. There is an overpass over the river, but I think I get something with graffiti. So that might be separate. I don't know if it's a tunnel that has graffiti on it. I know I did get a tunnel, but I know that there is an overpass over the river that's right after where you turn off. And that's one thing that's prevalent, is that right after you turn off, there's this overpass that goes to a different town or whatever. It goes over the river, a bridge, I guess you would call it. and then, but there is cement with some type of graffiti on it in the vicinity. So I get some sort of H name. It's almost like they ran across this place as they were leaving, because for some reason it feels like it before the main freeway or the roadway. Now, I had forgotten the dude's name, and then the person in my group reminded me that it was an H name, so that kind of blew me away, because I totally forgot that when I was channeling. When I'm channeling, I don't think or anything, so my teeth hurt now, so I don't know what's going on with my mouth unless it's taking in the water. My whole body is feeling sort of weird at this point. And then I was asking, what is a train trestle? I don't know if you guys can tell me that, because I heard that word. And I hear, I never made it home, but there's train tracks close by or in vicinity. For some reason, I keep being reminded, like, when I get off the right, like I was seeing before the overpass, and like she would be on the right, but coming back, it's the left, if that makes sense. Like, after you turn onto the road, she would be on the right, but if coming back from this way, it would be the left. I just keep getting reference to a clearing with grass and a building that's like broken down and abandoned, and I think it's brown, and I had mentioned an outbuilding before. This entrance does remind me of Warrior's Entrance right before you go over the bridge, then hit a new town on the other side. That seems to come in strong, so either it's that or it's one that has the same kind of entrance. It would make sense if the railroad is on the other side and up a bit, or if it's a secret place they know where they were. I don't know, but I just know the entrance looks like that. And the water has always been strong. I know why now. Which Summer told me she never ran off. I never saw anyone take her, even though I tried to follow both of those scenarios. And then I got an accident. But over the last couple days, I kept thinking, I'm getting all this. Would her mom drive that far back to put her there? No, it didn't really make sense, because there was never reports of her leaving or anything afterwards. So then I kept thinking, she told me she was never outside with the flowers in the first place. It led me to think she was never home. So I was pondering this over the last couple days, and they kept showing me a man. So I tried to follow him to see if he did something, like she was given to him or something like that. But it never took me anywhere. I never saw that man go anywhere. Nothing. So I feel like the gig is up now, and she needs to do the right thing. She needs to come forward and, do the right thing. Sorry. And I feel her grieving is real. She knows what happened, and so does the dad, and that's why he talks about in past tense. That's why he has no hope. And I do feel like she did threaten this kid, and they had the whole story planned out. And I'm looking around in my vision to see if this seems right, and I think so, because it's so vivid. And then I get a reference to those signs that are brown with point, like with they have like points to them. And Riverbank comes in. I heard it as Riverbank this time. Riverbanks came in the first reading, or banks of the river. So I know this is late. I've been dealing with pain, and I've been getting things on and off for a couple days before anything of this came out. It was just back and forth with the man and the swimming in my head, because the river was so strong, water was so strong, so it has to be this. She, in a way, mentioned this before, but it was very vague. Like, she always kind of said it was an accident, and then it was covered up. Because I see the same area, the area hasn't changed, other than now they've given me a clearing in a building and kind of showed me what side everything's on. But I've always felt water strongly. And I hate to know stuff, though. I hate to know stuff before. I really do. That's why I hate, I wish people wouldn't, they don't mean to, but they'll post stuff and send me stuff. And but when I do a reading, I'm worried people will think that's where I get my info. I only give what I get and see what I'm told. Give what I get and see, and, tell you what I'm told by Spirit. So I keep trying to go another way, and it didn't. And that's why when people guess and stuff on my comments, I also try to tell you guys I don't go by that either. Like, people put different scenarios, and they put guesses, and they put their own areas and whatever, and I can't go by that. I've had too many times where I've been led astray, and I didn't follow the reading. I listened to everybody else, and turns out my reading was right all along, so I have to stick with what I'm getting. And so, yeah, I try not to rush through this. I'm in a lot of pain, you guys, so I pray that it's accurate, and that it will lead someone to Summer to find her, and hopefully, someone will speak up. Hopefully the guilt will just get her so bad that she'll talk. But I can see the area pretty clearly. I'm curious if there's a clearing where I'm talking about. If anybody knows the area, if they can let me know. I couldn't figure out if it was Laurel or Warriors Park. It's one of those state parks around there, but the only thing, like I said, is like I'm going like straight, so that's why I think it's Warriors, because of the placement of it seems right. And I know everybody says they probably checked that, but it's a big area. I doubt they checked the whole thing. They probably just checked that specific spot. So, all I know is that the entrance is correct to that area. So that's why I think it might be around there somewhere, or a special place that they know about. I just remember I'm in like a dark hole, so I don't know. I don't know if they do have wells around there, or things that are like wells, or things that I don't know. I just think it's weird that I said that. I know that's being said right now. I know that's a rumor that's going around, but remember I said it in the first reading, but took it as her last name. So, I mean, I just know that it's dark where I'm at, and I feel like I've fallen down into something or been dropped down into something. I wasn't getting that before, but I am now. But the area, as I'm describing it, is all the same, and now it makes more sense to me, that area, because I kept thinking, like, and I know I already said this, but if I was taken home and an accident happened at home, or someone else took me or whatever, why would they take me back to this specific area? And it was an area that they know and they have videos in. It just didn't make sense to me. But this kind of does, and like I said, I tried to go in other directions, and you'll see, like, I always second guess myself because I don't want to be wrong. I never want to put wrong information out because it makes me look bad. I never want to misunderstand a reading, and luckily I haven't. It's just sometimes my readings are so mixed up with interconnects that it's hard to understand, but lately they've been more straightforward. So anyways, I hope it's right and all of that, and I'll see you guys next time.